Hey there, y'all. This week on Wanda's Closet, me and Cheryl are making some changes to Pickle Park, and I think it's time we establish some boundaries, y'all. Hey, Cheryl. I got a huge ingrown hair. Can you come take a look at it for me, please?
Oh, wanda.mcnash. Don't try to kiss her, ask her permission first. Wanda.mcnash. Always carries a 6-pack in her purse. Makes you wonder. Wanda.mcnash.
Hey there, y'all. Welcome to the very next episode of Wanda's Closet. I'm that reigning ruler of regulations, Wanda McNash. If you're new to my show, welcome. On Wanda's Closet, I like to sit down at the end of a long and grueling day of work, share a few laughs, a few memories, and some juicy Pickle Park gossip, y'all. And as I mentioned, I'm joined by my good Judy, Cheryl. Say hey, Cheryl. Okay, enough. I would say that she's filling in for my usual camera guy, Dale, but unfortunately, I was left no other choice but to make the brilliant decision to put him on editing instead, y'all. Dale's got a hard enough time getting to work as it is with that baby running around spreading all its juices and germs everywhere, y'all. And now the latest is that he jumped off his best friend's roof and absolutely broke every bone in his leg, y'all. You heard about that, Cheryl? It was last Thursday, right before the talent showcase up there at the Booby Trap. I know, last thing I said to him was break a leg. I thought I had psychic mind powers or something, y'all. Like Teresa Pachuto. I'll give that gal a run for her money with the hairspray, y'all. She don't shop well. Well, I don't know, Cheryl. I think this is probably for the better anyway. Dale's such a dang whiz with computers as it is. He was telling me how he's going to help me out by putting some pictures up on the screen this week, y'all. He was trying to explain it to me, but I wasn't really paying attention, y'all. But I just thought that was so dang nice. I thought, you know what, while you're sitting up at home with a broken leg, just get on that computer and make me look good. Dale? Can you hear me? Cheryl, are you any good with computers, y'all? Neither am I. Do you know the best way to turn on a computer? Just get it drunk and play with its boobs a bit. Now with Dale on editing, that allows Cheryl to take this cinematography thing and really lean into it, y'all. Which should be easy for her because one of her legs is a good deal shorter than the other, y'all. But you know what? We'll just take a piece of cardboard and wedge it up under one of her Birkenstocks. Right, Cheryl? You know what? I just realized, Cheryl, I love Birkins. You love Birkenstocks. Ain't that cute? Aw, and just in time for Valentine's Day, Cheryl. You're my Valentine. Well, y'all, it's 2024, a new year. And a new year for me means a new start, a new you, and a new beginning, y'all. So that's why this week on Wanda's Closet, we have some very serious matters to discuss, y'all. Now, Cheryl, you know as good as I do that I hate to put a crimper in anyone's camper, y'all. However, I do love telling people what to do. Well, as some of y'all may know, at the end of last fall, we had our Pickle Park sign repainted. Got a brand new slogan painted on it and everything that me and Cheryl came up with all by ourselves. It's a big attraction, y'all. We're so good at stuff like that. Since then, it has attracted several new residents here to Pickle Park, which I'm very pleased with. But with all new residents means all new problems, y'all. But don't be fooled by my delicate frame and my soft feminine exterior, y'all. People around here, myself included, call me Sergeant W. Because I'm known for running a very tight ship. So with that being said, I don't think there could be any better time to update our community guidelines. So, you know what? Ever since I've taken over this leadership role here at Pickle Park, people come up to me all the time, and go, you know what? You have truly moved Purple Mountains, Your Majesty. Like that song. So, it was only a matter of time before I took the most obvious next step, which is to become a lawmaker now. Now, me and Cheryl sat through at least 8 Lifetime shows coming up at these, y'all. So if you factor in the commercials, that's probably like, I don't know, like 106 hours or something. Okay, Dale, now's when I need you to put the pictures up on the screen, okay, honey? Thank you. So, rule number 1 is no shopping carts permitted on the grounds. Now, this is a problem for so many reasons, y'all. And Cheryl, you know exactly which soapbox I'm about to get on, y'all. It's a real onion of a problem. It's got a lot of layers, a lot to it, y'all. First of all, how are the shopping carts even getting here, y'all? Walmart's is 7 miles off. Who's doing that crap, y'all? Secondly, I can't tell you how many times I've hit one with my truck. Between shopping carts and deer, y'all. What the hell's the matter with people? A few weeks ago, wind was so strong, carried one of them, careened it right into the side of my Wanda wagon, y'all. I was madder than a hornet. What the fuck are you looking at? But the problem ain't just the cart situation here in Pickle Park. It's also the cart situation at Walmart's. Where should I begin? Well, first and foremost, when you go into the store most of the time, there isn't a cart to be found. But when there are, there's 700 of them lined up. All in little lines. Like they're doing little synchronized cart dancing. But don't get too excited, y'all. Because the trick is that only one of them can be set free. But you have to figure out which one that is. Just like on CSI. Y'all. Rest of them, all stuck. Got seatbelts all wrapped around them. All tangled up in the seat thing. I'm like, this is so exhausting already, y'all. I swear to goodness, Cheryl, you gotta have mental strength and physical intelligence to get one of them things free. So off I go with the only cart I can manage to set free. It's either one, got a limp due to a wonky wheel. B, it's the loudest thing on planet Earth and squeaks so dang bad it'll give you a migraine, y'all. Or D, all of the above. Scantron. So I'm trying to go faster and faster to get the hell out of there, y'all. But the squeak kind of has like a rhythm to it. So the faster you go, it starts sounding like a Taylor Swift song, y'all. I'm starting to write lyrics to it. Then I can't get the thing out of my head. I mean, it's absolute torture, y'all. It'll ruin your day. Although with my luck, Cheryl, most of the time I find a perfectly healthy cart, I end up injuring it along the way. Then I end up having to carry it like a wheelbarrow till I finish shopping. My arms get so tired, y'all. So y'all, that's why rule number 1 is no shopping carts permitted on the grounds. You know what, Cheryl? I'm realizing maybe all the shopping carts are broken at Walmart because everybody's always leaving them around here, hitting them with their vehicles, y'all. It's our fault. But Cheryl, one time I had to do my shopping in a different part of town and I had to go to Myers. Cheryl, Walmart's needs to take notes, y'all. Because when I walked into that store, not only was I greeted by the nicest middle-aged man that had every single one of his teeth, but then I was absolutely shocked. Because get this, he says hello to me. Then he pulls a perfectly healthy cart off the line, wipes it off, and hands it to me, y'all. Cheryl, I was so happy I almost threw up. Rule number 2. Cat encouragement of any kind is strictly forbidden. Alright, for those of you who don't know, I'll make a long story short. Pickle Park was formerly neighboring a cat sanctuary, y'all. Well, they went out of business and the owners just left them there. Well, people around here felt terrible, started feeding them and stuff. As people would do. Well, things got way out of hand. They all bred and turned feral and hungry and took over half the trailer park. Alright, so just so that we're clear as crystal light, I will elaborate on what I mean by cat encouragement, y'all. Eyeball me, people. This means that no residents at Pickle Park are permitted to pet the cats, provide litter boxes for the cats, name the cats, make kissy faces at the cats, lure or coax the cats in any way, do twinkle fingers at the cats, do not under any circumstances feed the cats, and especially not raw meats for fear that they may develop a taste for blood. You are strongly advised not to make eye contact with the cats, think about enjoying cats, and I don't know why I have to tell people this, but please do not attempt to throw the cats in the swimming pool. No wonder that thing's green. This is a very serious issue, y'all. I personally have been victimized recently by my own cat, Linda. I had a very emotional, heartfelt holiday video planned for y'all, and the whole thing was absolutely destroyed by my own cat, Linda Celine Dion McNash. Dale, just play the tapes. Now, they say not to cry over spilled milk, y'all, but I started crying violently immediately after that, y'all. Also, because I looked down and saw the angel laying on the ground. Angels always make me cry. Listen, Cheryl, I took that cat Linda in 3 years ago before we saw the warning signs of the literal catastrophe that was about to happen to us all. So by that point, she was already a legal tenant in my camper. What was I going to do, huh? But Cheryl, I wake up every morning to that cat on top of me licking at her butthole. Every time I bring home a thing of tomatoes, she'll take bites out of all of them. I had to start keeping them in the mini fridge, which is the wrong way to do it. That's not where you're supposed to keep the tomatoes. Doesn't matter what kind. Steakhouse, slicer, little baby cherry tomatoes, little baby kind. Plus, y'all, I get the feeling that she's sort of like the ringleader for the rest of the cats in the trailer park. She, just like me, has a natural ability for heading up a committee, y'all. She's like me in that way. And she'll sit there right at the window, talking to them all with her mind powers, y'all. And that's what she does, Cheryl. She just sits there and tells the rest of them what to do, how to drive us all crazy. Cats are big old sneaks, Cheryl. So that's why rule number 2 is cat encouragement of any kind is strictly forbidden. I do have a confession though, y'all. I did name about 12 of them. Some of them just have so much personality, y'all. Hopefully, they won't take out my next year's Christmas tree, because it's going to be blue. All right, y'all, moving along. So rule number 3 is no electric scooters or hoverboards. Now, this is a seasonal concern, y'all, but a valid one at that. Well, let's begin with the fact that kids don't need help going any faster. Then you give them a motorized vehicle. Those little things go faster than the speed limit here in Pickle Park. I get migraines when kids run, y'all, and that's a violation. And they stop making Excedrin the good way, like they used to. Whistle blowed, y'all. One time, 3 or 4 of them went by me, and I'm convinced they made my hair move. I seen one of them almost took little Norma down on the end out. All of a sudden, I seen her groceries go flying up in the air. She threatened to call the police on him. I said, Norma, just sit down and shut the hell up. I remember a few summers ago, me and Cheryl were sitting outside luxuriating. We like to sit there and listen to all the different variations of the nationwide insurance jingles, y'all. All we can hear is just zip, 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 back and forth, back and forth. Me and Cheryl are just trying to sit out here and do our vibes, y'all. You know what? So then I had the idea. I just went inside and I got my big old brown sack of firecrackers, started setting them off as they went by. We had so much dang fun that summer, y'all. Till we got in trouble when Carol Lee fell off her scooter and broke her arm. See, those things are so dangerous. They need to be outlawed. So that's why rule number 3 is no electric scooters or hoverboards, y'all. Moving on, y'all. Rule number 4 is yard sales can last no more than 3 consecutive days in a row. You know what, Cheryl, I say this on every single rule. I don't know why I have to tell people this. But believe you me, I know the struggle to make a few extra stinky dollars, y'all. But look, between the shopping carts and the yard sales, this place is starting to look like a dang flea market. The other day, I had a stranger walk up to me and ask me where all the food trucks were. I told him, I says, Norma gets Meals on Wheels. She loves them things. Her camper always smells like a can of peas, though. Cheryl, just because your camper faces the other direction, don't think I don't see you out there peddling your little hippie beads, too. Y'all, I see you. Now, don't get me wrong, y'all. I'm an absolute slut for a garage sale, y'all. I mean, hell, I'll pull over to the side of the road for a good ficus tree any day of the week. $0, y'all. I mean, it was just full of bugs. But Cheryl, have y'all seen some of the crap these people are selling? I walked by Emmett's the other day, who's had his open since June, mind you. He had an entire box full of socks he couldn't find matches to, y'all. I said, Emmett, I got a match for all those socks. He didn't get it. So that's why rule number 4 is garage sales can last no more than 3 consecutive days in a row. All right, y'all. Well, let's barrel through to our 5th and final rule. You make it, you take it. And lastly, y'all, this one's just common dang sense. I can't tell you how many times me and Cheryl get stuck at the end of a community function cleaning up after everybody, y'all. I mean, you'd think these people want their containers back. They're just throwing away good old Tupperware. But believe me when I tell you that none of these people in this trailer park can cook, y'all. Especially that Dale. Sorry, Dale. But I remember one time a few years ago, he was trying to impress me. He'd started cooking all of a sudden. Of course, this was back before him and Dreama decided to breed. Anyway, so he spends a whole afternoon in the kitchen making this tiny little dish of pudding for me. I mean, he put it in this little container and everything. It was so cute. I mean, he really, really went all out. Anyway, so he sets the thing down right in front of me. And all of a sudden, he pulls out a tiny little blowtorch and just sets the whole thing on fire right in front of me, y'all. Who would just set a perfectly good pudding on fire? It was vanilla. It's one of my favorite flavors. I mean, I thought, Dale, where on earth did you see someone setting a teeny tiny little pudding on fire, y'all? Is that on food TV? Anyway, he tried to come up with some stupid name for it, called it a cream broil or something. I thought, Dale, you better wake up. But then I thought, I need to find out where he got that tiny little blowtorch. Set off my firecrackers at Carol Lee. So between Dale's edible science experiments and all the crap these people around here cook, I mean, you'd think they use concrete in their recipes. I've tried to salvage some of their containers, y'all. And I just can't stand messy people, Cheryl. I don't have time. I'm not your maid, and I'm not your mother. Cheryl, you got a little smudge on your face. Go like this. Here, come here. So that makes our fifth and final rule. You make it, you take it. Well, Cheryl, I feel so much better now that I've got all these new rules out in the open, y'all. But you know what? I'm a realist too, so I know it takes some people longer to adjust. So you know what? I'll give everyone till the end of the week before I start pulling out my eviction forms, y'all. But y'all, the rules aren't the only thing getting an upgrade here inside Wanda's closet. Ever since I started this show, I've been saying to Cheryl, you know what I'm about to say, Cheryl? You know? I've been telling her how much I want a segment of my very own. So after all this waiting, I am finally able to introduce our very first segment called Makes You Wonder. Sometimes I wonder, is it the four founding fathers, the founding forefathers, or is it just forefathers they found somewhere? And what about the four mothers? Who would they be? How do we get four of them? Being the leader of a community is a really hard task, y'all. But one of my favorite things about it is getting to wear blazers every day. Because a blazer says I mean business. Y'all, a blazer's a good time. A blazer says, hi, I'm Wanda. And that was Makes You Wonder. You know what, Cheryl? One of the things that almost made it onto the rule list, y'all, no candy canes. I think they're adorable, so I buy them at the dollar store every time I'm there. Well, by the end of the season, I have 47,000 candy canes in a box. What the fuck am I going to do with a bunch of candy canes? What am I going to do with all these canes? I can't give them to the kids. They all suck them down to a point, try to stab you with them. All right, Cheryl, time to start that belly slapping because that's about all the time I've got this week for Wanda's Closet. But you know what, y'all? I had more fun than a booger in a windstorm. Please stay safe, be kind, and just remember, y'all, I hope one day y'all can park your trailers next to mine. Because I love y'all big. Y'all need to know that. Bye now.
Oh, wanda.mcnash. Don't try to kiss her, ask her permission first.
Cheryl? Are you watching this one? You've never done